Just be careful. Hey! Gone.
Let
me help you.
Just bring this thing back a bit.
Let's just take it back.
There you go. Okay. Awesome. There you go. Cool.
Is it still like
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Cool. There you go. So you can go sit down there again and we'll check it. Right. Who's meeting? Okay.
I think it's your neighbor.
No, but my daughter's also on her way home, so. Right. This out the way. The setup is cool, but it's a bit iffy. You know what I mean?
Well, you need to play around with like distances and everything. So
Yeah,
for
I thought I had it right, but I mean, it's just like
for example, say
cables and.
if I sit back, right?
Yeah.
I'm barely in the frame.
Okay, just hold on. So I can go to. Right. Yeah, so the okay, yeah, because like with the Instagram live thing, if you the way that it is, if you sit back
like that,
yeah, I won't see
which would be the comfortable position.
Well, you actually need to talk into the mic.
So you need to sit forward.
Well, you can put a chair in a bit, can't you?
It's going to be very close to the table. Like I don't know, my knees are quite high, so if I pull it like this, my thighs are already against the table.
Okay, I'll buy you a new table. Okay. If you that mic.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
I'll do it now.
Cool.
Hi. Wait, yeah. You check the last one. Doesn't sound like close because I'm using the mic.
Talking to the mic.
Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to be doing a podcast with the Bearded Fan. I'm going to be interviewing the Bearded Fan about his podcasting.
No. Okay.
What's happening? It's not coming through.
Maybe.
Oh, no.
Out. Do me a favor. Go to YouTube. Go to my.
Testing.
No, the Bearded Fan YouTube channel. Let's check and see if the audio is coming through there.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad you guys are joining us on this lovely Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We're going to be interviewing the Bearded Fan. So the YouTube works.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I wonder
cool.
why this doesn't use the. You know why? Because this is not a microphone cable.
It's an audio cable.
It's an audio cable.
Yeah.
That's why.
So does the Instagram feed doesn't have any audio?
Yeah, so I'd have to think about how to get audio in there. I'd need a microphone cable.
Mm-hmm. You'll need a mic cable. Yep.
Yeah, well, I need a cable like this, but with a microphone plug on it.
Or just could use an adapter.
I don't know if you can get it.
I think you can get an adapter.
What, with a microphone
Yeah.
section on it?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, that's a bit of a bummer, eh?
It's okay. The YouTube works as always.
You know, I'm just trying to think what I could do. Maybe I could use my laptop. Don't worry, we'll crack a beer now. Okay.
I'm like sitting here. So does it mean that we have to use two mics? One mic for YouTube and one mic for Instagram.
No. I'm just going to put this as close as possible.
Okay.
I'm going to daisy chain it.
Okay, I see.
And then just see if it works better. Just for now, I'll come up with a plan for the
Permanent solution.
Permanent solution. Yeah. Let's try this.
You'll need to. Do you have some insulation tape?
What I can do is I can maybe just. Maybe that'll be a bit better.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Hi guys on Instagram. How's everyone doing today?
Right. So what I found with these mics is you need to be nice and close to them.
To get a good audio.
Well, that's how they were
Or
built.
like, for example, say if I sit like this.
No, it will work, but
It will work.
yeah, you
Okay.
won't be the. Ooh. Okay, so I bought us some Firebird IPA.
That is awesome.
This is
Looks amazing.
yeah. So oh shit!
Steady hand.
Look at the head on that. There you go. You can
Awesome.
open your beer.
It's not working, but like you can hear you.
Okay, but it's better than just now, or no, not really. Okay, cool. No man, please. Right, so
On that happy note.
I'm sure I tested this audio cable the other day and it worked. But I might be wrong. So maybe you just need something.
We need to get some. I was thinking.
There, dude. There's scissors over there.
You wanna?
Just don't cut your cable.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that'll be better. Cool. So cheers
Cheers.
to
To
well
the first podcast.
yeah well
Videocast.
yeah, the first live one, yeah. Not too bad. Could be a bit colder though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe the next time I must put them in the deep freeze just for a bit, because I don't know how cold. I got these from the CBL. Because you know that you can buy takeaway beers there.
No,
Hmm.
I didn't realize.
You just go there and say, well, you want two of those, and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
because a lot of places they say, oh no, they have to open it.
Mhm.
They won't let you leave. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's something to do with the liquor law.
I think it's something to do with the liquor law.
Well, I wonder if they had to specifically get around that.
Yeah.
Or are they doing something they're not supposed to be doing?
No, I think they're basically both distributors and the restaurants, so they have two licenses.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Maybe I must check out.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is I just wanted to fire up Instagram here.
and have a look how the feed looks.
Well, if I go here,
Yeah.
Instagram, yeah.
And have a look how the feed looks.
Well, if I go here,
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, well, but at least this way I can see if people are on here.
Yeah.
The only problem is that, like, when you're doing an Instagram live, I can't comment. Well, I suppose you don't really want to comment, write a comment there. You can just talk.
Yeah.
So someone makes a comment.
So what you need to do is you need to have your notebook sort of like on the side, right? And you need to see if any comments or questions.
Yeah,
coming
well,
up.
that's right. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I've done. Is so So if anyone made a comment, I'd be able to see it here.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do the same thing with YouTube here.
But maybe, like for example's sake, because in most cases you focus on the podcast, you don't want to be constantly looking at.
No, you don't want to constant. But if someone
notebook.
makes like if you ask, you say, people are live, and then you put out a
Yeah.
question out there,
Yeah.
and then you can then see
Yeah.
see the responses from people. So I was just, yeah, it's just the way things go. So the only problem is like,
So the moral of the story, right, is that you need to have your setup a little bit further away, just to give yourself a bit of wider angle, and just need to double check the audio links, because
Yeah.
you'd want both the Instagram feed and the YouTube feed audio and video to work in the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, exactly, yeah. It was not bad for the first time.
No, it's
The
not
first
bad.
try.
It's like 75% there.
Yeah, so I can. So I can also check
That's pretty cool.
on there as well.
Yeah.
So this YouTube camera field of view is pretty decent.
No, it's perfect. Yeah, that was close. That was.
And this is my old
Yeah.
note. Eh?
Yeah, yeah.
You recognize this?
No,
eh?
this is still in a good condition. This is Note 3, right?
Yeah, like yours.
Yeah.
You also had a
that's-
Note 3, right?
Yeah. Look, mine did not survive this long.
No, I mean, how long did you have yours for?
I had mine for about 4 years.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah. And then things started to go on it. And then
Yeah.
I was just
Look, I mean, I just use it as a spare phone if I ever need it.
yeah, no, it's pretty neat. I mean, it still works. Your display is still solid. Don't have any issues with battery time or anything.
Well, no, the battery doesn't last very long.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
That's
like
very neat.
does. It's already on 74%. I think it was
Yeah.
on 100 5 minutes ago. But anyway, that's cool.
That's amazing.
I wanted to see if. So I'm trying to work out how, as well, like with the YouTube, how I would be able to see what, if there were any comments, if people made comments. Yeah, interesting. But it looks like I can do the live as well as on the same account.
Yep.
See the live.
Mhm.
But it doesn't look like you can do that with Instagram. So like Instagram, I had to log into my Bearded Fen account
Yeah.
and then look at the Bearded Fen podcast live to see who's
so
joined.
once you actually start casting, right, you won't be able to see on your Instagram account through that same account.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like it.
That's
So
interesting.
we've got some people that have joined, which is quite interesting.
Cool. Who joined?
I don't know these people. The one looks like Jenna Bradshaw and Chris
Hi,
Harrod.
Janet. And hi, Chris.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
So we're doing a bit of a test. If anyone wants to know what's going on here, we're just doing a bit of a test for the live show that will be launching in January next year.
Wow.
We're going to be doing what is known as Weekend Crack.
That's
So
an
if
interesting
anyone,
name. How did
yeah.
you come up with that?
So now KRAK is spelled CRAIC,
Yeah.
and it's actually Irish. I was just about to say Chinese. But
Yeah.
it's an Irish word for news.
Yeah.
So like if I phone my dad,
Yeah.
he'll pick up the phone and he'll be, "Hey, my lad, what's the crack?"
Yeah.
So like, what's the news?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah. So I thought I'd call the show Weekend Crack.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can also have a little bit of a play on words then. You know, your weekend crack,
Yeah.
which is something else.
Yeah,
You know,
no, for sure.
bit of an
Something
upper-
completely different.
Something
Yeah.
completely different. Yeah. So that's the idea. So just testing the video setup.
Yeah.
Plus, when I think all my podcasts that I'm going to be doing from now on, I'm going to be hosting here, and eventually I'll have my studio outside.
Yeah.
But for the meantime, this is going to be the setup,
I think
and
it's,
the idea is I'm going to video all my podcasts from now on, and release those on YouTube.
pretty much instantaneously.
Yeah. So except for the mobile ones, if
Yeah.
I do a mobile podcast
Yeah.
for now, I will. I probably won't do the video.
Yeah.
But I want to try and keep the mobile podcast like to a minimum, exception to the rule. So I'm inviting all the guests now to come to my place to come and do the
Yeah.
podcast now.
I guess the advantage is that you won't have to spend a lot of time on doing the editing and
Yeah.
the checking. Everything's going to be pretty much instantaneous, which is good and bad in terms of like you will have to get it right pretty much from the start.
Yeah. So the only thing is, like, if people are now watching through the because everyone's gone now, by the way.
Okay.
Anyway, so I think the point that we need to make is that the sound on the Instagram live is not the greatest because we don't have the mics plugged in to that.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I will sort that out. I'll have to work out how I can do that. Because there must be. I'm actually thinking now. How would I do it? I would need anyway, sorry, squirrel. I went off on a tangent thinking about what the options are in terms of getting the sound right. But anyway,
I think the long-term plan in terms of getting those mics working is that just need to get an adapter, mic adapter, so you can still use an audio cable, but just get a mic adapter and test it with a mic adapter.
Yeah. So I see some guys have joined on Instagram Live. So for those guys that have just joined, the sound on the Instagram Live is not the greatest because we've had an issue with the mic cable into the camera.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to watch, it's also available live on YouTube. If you look for The Bearded Fen on YouTube, you'll see that busy doing a live, and then the sound will be 100% because the desk is going straight into the YouTube feed.
Yeah. So in terms of like the content, what type of content do you want to cover on the
weekend
crack?
on the weekend crack?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, dude, you're supposed to be wearing your t-shirt.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
So
I'm gonna put it on. But just
are you gonna step out of the camera view? Yeah. So you were asking me what subjects I was.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say I wanted to do, the men's striptease, but clearly you're not my first candidate. No. Okay, so
It's a nice t-shirt, by the way.
thank you. Only the best quality, dude.
Yeah, no, it fits perfect.
So anyone that
Hi guys, I'm back.
so anyone that comes on the podcast gets a Bearded Fen podcast t-shirt.
Yep.
Only of the highest quality, obviously.
So coming back to the male strip tease, is it going to be a PG rated show in terms of like
not a chance.
in terms
No,
of
well,
like,
look-
in terms of like no
No.
swearing, no profanity.
No, look, I would cautiously say that anything goes because I'm not here to cramp anyone's style.
Yeah.
But obviously there are certain subjects that one just needs to be careful of.
So within limits, within reasonable.
Yeah, within
limits,
limits. Yeah. So so Weekend Crack will launch next January.
Yeah.
There might be a couple of live ones in between leading up to that. Maybe you and I will be talking shit for a bit. And
for sure.
But yeah, then so the subjects would be just basically it's gonna be a live show, say 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I haven't firmed up the date just yet. And then I will just invite people to come in, whoever it might be. They can just some of my previous guests that have been on,
Mm.
invite them, tell them they can pull in on a Saturday whenever they want. Let's say it's Dan Petlansky, and he
That
wants
would
to.
be awesome.
He's launching his new album or whatever, and he wants to come and talk about it, or he's got his new tour in South Africa or whatever. He's got some gigs in Joburg.
Yep.
He can pull in. You can come have a quick chat about it. Whatever. Vesperados can pull in.
I think that would be really interesting to have those guys.
Well, I mean, so as you all know, I did Jared Habib, who's the president of the Vesperados. You might have met him last night.
Yeah. I might have. I don't know any of those guys. So
Yeah. Anyway, so he was the podcast on Friday, the one that I published on Friday. Yeah.
Just by the way, what Vespa, what like color and type of Vespa does Gerard drive?
It's an orange one.
It's an orange one.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember it. Maybe you already split yesterday.
Maybe. Yeah. Look.
So
how was Hell's Kitchen, dude?
it was.
It was their 5th birthday party.
I guess that was the reason for us being
everyone
there,
was
yeah.
going large last
Yeah.
night. Yeah, I was there from 2 to about 6 o'clock, and it was pumping when I left. So,
Wow.
how was it when you arrived?
It was insane. It was pumping. It was crazy. A lot of people. The Vesperado guys were still there, which is surprising since they were there since 2 o'clock.
Yeah, I think they arrived at 3:30. But
Okay.
still, I mean, 2 3 doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. 1 or 2
Yeah.
beers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met some really interesting people yesterday. Some potential guests for the podcast.
Yeah.
I chatted to one of the bands that was playing there yesterday.
Yeah.
No names mentioned. They said they're keen to come on.
That's interesting.
And then also one of the guys that provides the tattoo artists with tattoo aftercare products.
Yeah.
He's going to come on the podcast soon.
By the way, how did you decide on a 10 o'clock show? Like, where does the 10 o'clock comes from?
Well,
Why not?
It's to fit in with
Yeah.
you, dude. No, I'm
No,
joking.
come on. So, why not 9? Why not 8:30? Why not? Why
Well,
not
because
11?
obviously I've still got commitments.
Okay.
My daughters need to go. Well, my one daughter needs to go to Irish dancing lessons on a Saturday morning, and I only get
Yeah.
home at 9:30. So
Okay.
I don't know. Look, if it's going to work out earlier, then I can always make a plan about the Irish dancing on the Saturday. I would like to do it.
I'm just
I would like
wondering,
to do it but I mean, if people are pulling in, 8
Yeah.
o'clock is a bit early.
Yeah.
9 o'clock is probably a good time.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll try and work out 9 o'clock. But I mean, that's what I said. I haven't decided on the time yet,
Mm.
but definitely on the concept.
Have you checked what is the best time to actually do the type of podcast/video cast in terms of, especially on the weekend? Because for example, sake on the weekend people have from the morning to the afternoon stuff to do. So you would either start early. So for example, sake that hour before people hit the road, go to the shopping centers, do the usual
Yeah.
errands, or
Yeah.
you start late when everyone comes back and basically is laying on the couches and
Yeah.
relaxing and trying.
So
to catch
3
up.
o'clock on a Saturday afternoon.
So no, I'm just playing around with ideas.
No, I know. Look, I'm
Yeah.
totally open to those ideas. I'm not.
Yeah.
That's why I said the time is not set in stone.
Yeah.
I'm still going to ruminate on that whole idea of the time. So I mean, people. So obviously, I'm going to start now talking about the live show, and I will just get people's feedback on potential people that would come into the podcast or come in on a Saturday morning to chat. I'll ask them what sort of time suits them, and I'll get an idea on how those things, how that will work out.
Yeah.
So how do you like my 3D print?
Oh, it's amazing.
So you see,
Cool.
like my logo.
Yeah, it's really neat.
I 3D printed
why?
printed the logo.
Yeah. No, it's really cool.
So I still want to print the Bit of Femme podcast sign.
Yeah.
And then it'll fit in there. I might have to make it a bit
That's
bigger.
neat. Looks very cool. Well done. How long did this print job take? Just for the interest sake.
It took about this one probably about 6 hours to print. And I printed
that's
it
impressive.
in different sections, and then obviously printed the inside with the red filament. And then this is a PLA, black PLA plastic,
Mm-hmm.
and so it comes out a bit shiny. It's not like a matte
It
color.
looks,
So then,
it looks very smooth. It looks like
Yeah.
you did it like in really high detail.
no, but then what I did is I sprayed it afterwards.
Yeah.
With that Rust-Oleum black rubber
Yeah.
stuff. So it's got a bit of a rubber feel to it. It's not like smooth plastic.
No, it feels polished. You know, I'm not sure if it's got a rubbery feel. But it
Well,
feels like,
yeah, I didn't spray too much on.
Yeah.
Let me grab a product. So it's called Flexi Dip. This stuff.
interesting.
So you can actually
So
spray it on the wheels of your
Wow.
mags of your car.
Removable rubber coating. So it's just basically just a protection layer.
Yeah, but I mean it
Short
works
touch,
very nicely. It
comfortably
works.
ribbed, great for metal, plastic, and glass. Interesting.
Yeah, so it works very well for 3D prints.
Awesome.
So I wonder if my girls are listening, I can tell them that I need another beer. Oh, you know what I need? I need a bell. I gotta go ding 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 ding. I'll have another beer, please.
Yeah, because
I've got a bell. I'm telling you, I've got a bell somewhere.
you don't want to be jumping out and basically jumping in and out of the frame all the time. Yeah,
I'm sure I've got a bell somewhere. It rings a bell. I've got a bell.
it does.
somewhere.
It does ring a bell.
Okay, so verdict on the Firebird IPA as opposed to something like Devil's Peak.
I have to admit, I prefer Devil's Peak.
I will agree.
Will
No
you- will
offense,
you
it's a very no. So when we go to Calexico on a Friday
Yeah.
afternoon, our normal thing is we have an IPA, Devil's Peak IPA, and then we switch over to something like a cannabis beer or
Yeah.
something like that.
something
So-
smoother and softer and
Yeah. So what I like about the Devil's Peak IPA, if it's nice and cold, is it's got that like fruity taste when you first have it.
Yep.
And it's quite bitter, almost like got a lychee. That's my impression. It's got like a bit of a lychee taste to it, fruity taste. Very bitter. I can't have two. I can have one, and then I need to
Yeah.
go on to something a bit smoother, which is say like the cannabis beer. But this IPA is nice, but it's not as punchy as the
it's not as punchy. Yeah,
as
it's,
the
it's almost
Devil's-
like
Devil's Peak.
you drink,
These I could have two of.
you drink
one
it
after
down
the
like
other.
a watered down IPA type of thing. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's not as bitter as
But I guess that's a nice thing about it is that it does feel smoother than the Devil's Peak.
it does.
Yeah.
Definitely could have two of those in a row. Yeah, not too shabby, Nige. Okay, so Firebird IPA was created to capture the essence and freedom of driving along on an open road on a smooth summer evening
Would it
in
be
an
a-
American icon. And I would
Yeah.
imagine
would it be
they say
or without?
in or not. They said in and not on.
Yeah,
So I would maybe say on
yeah.
an American icon like a Harley,
But
as
we're
opposed
not-
to a Mustang.
Yeah, but we're not promoting drinking and driving.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So someone just said African 1487, who I think has come and gone already, and says, "Love you guys."
Awesome.
I'll take that. But
Yeah.
I think that person is ducked already. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, so it seems to be working. Okay, obviously I need to just sort out the Instagram
Yep.
audio. I wonder if one could make a comment and then pin it at the top, but I wouldn't be able to do that. I still need to work
I think
out
you need to
exactly-
to have an admin for the Instagram that basically does it for you. Like
What do
as
you mean, like
drink.
one of my girls,
Yeah.
my producer
You-
daughter?
your assistant or your editor.
Can I have a hot assistant, please? Could be my daughter as well. 'cause
Could be
she's
that as
like-
well. Yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah. Emma, are you listening? No. Okay. How's your beer going, dude? Yeah.
Can I just make a comment?
Yes.
Emma, you listening? No, she's not.
No, she's
listening.
not. Not even my own daughters are supporting my channel.
It's okay, but
That is
like,
so wrong,
can I just make a couple of comments? I really
please
love
do.
the quality of these mics.
Okay.
Uh,
But I mean, do you think I need to get a table?
So the only thing,
a tablecloth,
no, don't get
like a white
tablecloth.
tablecloth.
I think no. I think you can have a few more things on the table, not too many, so
Like
it doesn't
gadgets
appear.
like at the-
Yeah. So it doesn't appear distracting, but it's like it's also just to bring a little bit more color because it's like very much polished wood feel, right?
Yeah.
So another thing that I find weird, maybe I'm not used to the whole
Podcasting.
being interviewed or talking on the mic thing is, you need to sit quite close. You need to be always
Look, I
consciously
think-
aware.
Well, I
think
mean,
for
if you
me,
sit back now,
yeah,
is that better for you?
like it's more comfortable,
Well, then you can do it.
because
It's just that
if I'm
you get the proximity effect when you.
yeah, so if I'm sitting very close to the mic, is I like the mic covers about 40% of my field of view. So it's a very weird feeling to actually
Okay.
get used to.
Well, you just got to come on more often, and then
Yeah, that's
okay.
true.
No. Look, I suppose in the long term, what I would
Yeah.
do is I would get those boom
mics.
the
That's
boom things so that then it'll be easier to
So-
adjust. You could sit back and
Yeah.
you could put the mic in front of your mouth wherever you want it.
So the
Because
cool thing.
because I mean, you can sit back and move the mic right to the edge of the table.
So the cool thing
Just
is
try
that
that.
the stand is really solid,
Yeah.
and the cool thing about the stand being solid is like you have a tendency to play around with things that are in front of you,
Oh,
and you can't move things that easy. You can't move.
well, just for comfort, just move it. Yeah, you can move
No,
it closer.
I think I'm used to it now.
Yeah,
it's
you can
just
use like that.
it's just when you're sitting in one place in one position a long time, you generally tend to lean back.
Yeah.
When you lean back, you don't notice that you're moving away from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
mic.
yeah. Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I mean, if you lean back, but just move the mic right to the edge of the table, move the mic right to the edge of the table,
Okay.
and then sit back as a.
Yeah,
It should be
that's
fun.
perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, okay, obviously I can't hear how good the sound is.
These guys.
Yeah, because obviously in my setup I want to have, because I don't have the right desk yet. I've got a normal mixing desk
Yeah.
that I'm using, which is fine. It works pretty well, but it would be nice if if each person could have their own headphones and adjust their volume. Yeah. So I'll get the desk that I want, and then you'll be able to do that. And each person can have their own headphones, and they can hear, and then I will be able to hear what the mix is like. And
Yep.
so, like now, I've got no idea. If you sit back,
You got no idea.
Yeah, I've got no idea
Yeah.
what the sound looks like.
Yeah.
You know, what the sound sounds like. Not
Sound
looks
looks like. A lost beer for
Yeah,
bearded
yeah.
fan.
Well, as long as it's not
Well-
beer fanning.
A beer fan.
But I also noticed, like now when I'm sitting back now here, is that the IGTV it's cutting me right here. So
Yeah.
I need to get that set up right in terms of distance away.
A field of view.
Emma, when you're ready, please.
No
When you're
pressure.
ready, I need you to do something for me, please.
It's very important.
Yeah, well, you can pee first. Yeah. So anyway, very difficult to know who's still online because it'll say that there's one person online
Mhm.
or one person watching, but lots of people join. It doesn't tell you when they leave.
Yeah.
So,
But can you see who's active online? Who's like?
well, I can see it just says one is watching.
Yeah.
And people have joined.
If you that.
But
one,
you don't
thank
know
so
when
much.
so whoever's watching now, if they just drop me a message right now so that I know who's listening, and I can do a shout out to that person. In the fridge there,
Yeah.
don't you want to bring a beer? You want another one?
No, I'm
Some
good.
beer
I'm
you
good.
guys had.
I'm good. I'm good. I'll grab one later.
Can you get me the rusty hook, please?
The rusty what?
Rusty hook.
Rusty hook.
It's a rusty trigger actually. Rusty hook. I
Yep.
just gave a shout out as a establishment out there on the Vusrand. If anyone wants to know.
Where is that?
Honeydew area.
Okay. Okay.
Seriously dodgy area.
Yeah.
For Rebecca.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Right, so I'm gonna do. Have you had this rusty
Yeah.
trigger?
I actually like this.
Lager,
This is pretty
yeah.
smooth.
But I don't know. I'm always like,
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm opting out when I have a lager because, lager's like so common. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
Like you think, I should be doing a pale ale. Or
But I think these
Vice
guys
or-
bring a different flavor to the lager. I've tried them. A couple
We'll
of
find out
times.
now.
Yeah.
Because I've still got that bitter aftertaste from the IPA is still
Still there.
there.
Okay, cool.
So
So in terms of the crank news, right? So like
the
what
crank news, crack,
crack news,
crank.
crank.
So
So in terms of the crack news,
cheers,
right?
guys.
Cheers, guys. Like what stuff do you want to cover? Do you want to cover the current stuff, current
No,
music
look, I mean,
stuff,
it'd just be
current tech,
Yeah.
or something interesting, something completely left field?
well. Look, ideally, what I would like to be doing is if it's like a Saturday morning.
Yep.
It's maybe like order breakfast.
Yeah.
Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Order breakfast from a particular place.
Yeah.
Just have breakfast or whatever. Talk shit.
Mhm.
No, look. It's the subjects will be basically what's happening during the week or what's coming up this
Yeah.
weekend or in the next week
Yeah.
or two, and it could be anything. It could be music. It could be bike events. It could be whatever.
Mhm.
The other thing is that, so it's just current stuff. Whereas, like with a podcast, I'm interviewing a particular person about a particular
thing
for a particular reason.
Yeah.
So, if let's say, for instance, someone decides to, let's say, these guys decide that they want to donate some beers to us,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Then we'll sit here and we'll
We'll
taste them,
yeah.
and we'll
give them
talk about craft beer and all that kind of stuff. And even if these guys would want to come in,
Yeah.
let's say they bring out a new beer or whatever. So it's more like almost like a launch pad for people to come and chat about something that's happening now. Because I might record a podcast and it might only come out in a month's time.
Yeah.
Right, because of availability and when I need to, so someone says, oh, okay, I can do a podcast now, but I might only be able to publish it in a month's time.
Yeah.
So if they want to announce something, it's a little bit difficult because they announce it now, but it only comes out in a month's time. It's too late.
Yeah.
So this is just another avenue to do more current stuff, whereas the podcast will be more about, how did your brewery start? Where did the idea come from?
The
or
whole
whatever.
history,
Yeah. But if they bring out a new beer and they're having a launch, say tomorrow night.
Yeah.
If this was Saturday morning and they say it's happening today, then at least then they can come in, or even it could be the week before. They come in, bring a couple of beers, we taste it, and they can say, okay, we're launching this beer and you can meet us at XYZ for it. So it's just to create that platform for people. And then the normal podcast will be just more about finding out about people, how they started, where they come from or whatever.
That's cool. Just one question, right? So how would you set it up if you had more than one person or more than two people?
So at the moment, I'll be recording a
one guy
podcast
here, and then one guy here and somebody else.
So
here.
look, I mean,
and they're all sharing the mic type of thing. Or
Well,
is it going to be like
if they so at the moment I've got two of my own mics, but obviously I've got access
plus
to
you have the lapels, right?
Yeah, I've got the lapels. But they would be very difficult to. I could possibly pump those into the desk as well, because I can put an adapter on those and then pump them into the desk.
Yeah.
So that can be done. So that's not a problem. But my idea is generally, hopefully, it would be maximum of 4 of us talking on at a time, myself and 3 guests. If it was more than that, then I would borrow a cordless mic from Brian and then plug that in and then just have that as a roving mic.
Okay.
Because the desk that I want to get will only have 4 channels.
Okay.
Right. So typically you would only really have more than 3 people if it's like a band or something.
Yeah.
And then if it's a band, you can have one mic that they bounce between. You can have one that bounces between 2 people and 2 mic, whatever. I'll just work around that. But mainly there would be 3 or 4 people in total on the podcast, myself and three guests. So like now this week I'm doing a podcast. There'll be 3 of us. So it's myself and 2 guests, and this current setup with someone sitting over here.
Yep.
And I'll borrow an extra mic from Brian.
Okay, cool. So another cool idea that you can, think about whether you want to implement or not is to actually have a screen on the side. So if you want to cast anything or just show something that you guys are talking about, like for example's sake, there's a new video
What
clip
do you mean? Like
out,
put a TV up there?
either a TV or just a big monitor, and
Yeah.
can be that side, but like it has to be visible within the frame, And then like if you want to flash something, you can flash something, you can show them what you're talking about, and
Yeah, maybe. But remember, this is just temporary.
yeah.
Because I'm gonna set up their podcast studio outside, and then I can set everything up once, and set it up for all these different scenarios, and just see how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
So for now, this is the
pretty
temporary setup.
This is pretty neat.
I don't know. So it looks like
so
still only.
So the cool thing with the TV, right, or like a really large monitor, is that you can flash any promotion or advertising.
Yeah, I suppose so.
So like if, for example's sake, if a specific episode is sponsored by, I don't know.
Yeah. So
just
it would be
called,
nice if you
Firebird IPA, right?
Yeah.
And you can basically flash their logo, maybe
I
flash their
suppose
banner type of stuff,
I suppose going forward, it would probably be better to have a software that you can use to do that. Because I'm sure there's software out there that you run on your machine, on your computer.
Yep.
And you've got a camera in, and you can, if you've got someone producing on the other side behind the camera, they can then put that insert in there in the live feed.
Yep.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would
that
be
person
awesome.
could Google something.
Yeah,
and
just
pop it
flash
up
on the
as
screen,
either as an insert or oh my god, I'm starting a new TV station.
Yeah. So have you thought about
One day.
Like when you're streaming the stuff to Facebook, Instagram, just to get your own radio channel, like a digital radio channel?
Why?
And basically just get it on radio as well.
What radio? Internet radio.
Internet radio. Yeah.
Well, but I mean that's exactly what this is.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So I mean it's a very interesting conversation to have the overlap between radio and podcasting or live casting or YouTube or whatever. I don't
So what's your take on stuff?
Well, so I mean I've got not a bugbear, but it's almost like the podcasts market has been saturated by catch-up radio.
Okay.
So like for instance, you've got 702 or whoever,
Yeah.
and they will then create a podcast out of a show that they had on radio.
Yeah.
So it's catch-up radio. So like when you're looking at podcast stats, and if you use your look, I mean, I don't even know what the correct definition of a podcast is. I think the definition of a podcast is an electronic audio file that you can listen to on your
device,
on your mobile device.
Yeah.
Very, very broad. But I think the way that people have created podcasts and published podcasts is that it's this like long form conversation.
Yeah.
That is about a particular subject, whether it be finance or business or technology or lifestyle or whatever it might be, psychology, etc. And it's there's no limit on how long the episode is. The episode could be
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah. Or it can be 15 minutes.
Or it could be 15 minutes. Whereas I find, and it's a conversation, it's not really an interview.
Yep.
It's like two people sitting down and having a conversation about a particular subject.
Yep.
Yes, I might have some questions I would like you to answer for me if you're a subject matter expert.
Yep.
But I'm like, there's no limit on time, and there's no like, I don't have 10 questions and for my radio show to be good, I need to get through those 10 questions and I need you to answer them. Because you might come up, what I find with that is it narrows the conversation down, is because you are only going to tell me what I want to know.
Yeah.
Whereas with a podcast, we're having a conversation. You might say something that triggers something in my mind, and I'll ask you a question. That might not have even been on my list of things that we wanted to talk about. So I think I find that a radio show, a talk show, that brings a person in and they've got X amount of questions, they don't tend to go to that place. So I think that's the benefit of having a podcast. in my opinion.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, and like I think everyone's definition of podcast is going to be different based on what podcast they listen to. Some
Yeah.
people, their podcast that they listen to is only catch-up radio.
Yeah.
702's Money Talks or
Yeah.
whatever it might be, Bruce Whitfield or whatever, which is fine because I mean, I do also subscribe to those podcasts.
Yep.
But so yeah, I mean, the question is like, okay, what's the overlap between radio and podcasting? I think the lines are very blurred. But then again, if you look at the content that's on YouTube, there are many types of videos that are on YouTube, and some of them might be someone's decided to create a mini series or a series.
Yep.
And they, it's like a whatever you want to call it, 5-minute episodes. One season is 8 episodes, and it's in total it's 10 minutes worth of whatever, as an example. And then there are people that are doing, streaming game, they're playing games and they're streaming it.
Yeah,
or
Twitch.
there are guys that are doing, like GoPro style videos, and so YouTube is just this tool to get that stuff out there.
Yeah, but the content
can be anything.
Yeah, the content.
So I
is very
suppose
terrible.
podcasting is pretty much the same thing. I don't think anyone can dictate what a podcast is. So if a radio station is putting out catch-up radio, well, okay, that's their vision of a podcast. If I'm sitting here having a conversation with you, talking about beers and talking about motorcycles or whatever, it's just two buddies catching up.
Yep.
That's the podcast. I'm having conversations with guys in this like sort of area that my area of interest. That's
Music,
my podcast.
yeah.
That's my podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't, as much as I have an opinion about radio putting their stuff into the podcast market, because I think what happens is people, when I'm talking to people about my podcast, is I feel that I have to do quite a bit of educating, which is fine because I'm all about growing the podcast market.
Yeah.
Much like with 3D printing. When I got into 3D printing 4 years ago, there were a lot of people that there weren't a lot of people that were into it.
Yeah.
But the people that were into it were having to explain to other people what is 3D printing, what is possible with 3D
what
printing,
they can do, yeah.
what they can do, and what the costs are, and etc. etc. So,
but personally, I think what you're doing is really cool. Like, I think that you're having the conversations that are worth to be had, and the conversations largely were interesting. I mean, I loved your podcast with Dan Petlansky. I thought it was awesome.
The sound wasn't great, but
the sound wasn't great, but like the content was great. I didn't know Dan as an artist before we went to the music box, and I'm very grateful that you introduced me to that type of blues genre, and that was an eye-opening experience for me. So that was really, really nice. But yeah, with regards to conversation about motorbikes, about different type of craft, about music, I think those are conversations that are worth to be had because you obviously have a set of things that you want to find out from the person that's doing a podcast with you.
So I mean, for me, the joy of doing the podcast is being able to interact with people that I'm interested in knowing more about.
And ask those questions and have a conversation.
And also it gives them an opportunity or another platform for them to get out whatever it is that they do, get it out. So it's early days for me with a podcast. Hopefully it grows to something that is significant and that those people get more traction out of it. So if someone comes onto the podcast now and it's still in its early days and whatever, they will still get the benefit from it long term because the podcasts are there forever. Until such time I decide to take them down or someone else takes them down. So even if someone only subscribes or gets into my podcast 2 years down the line, they will still be able to go back and listen to that Dan Petlansky conversation and learn something that they didn't know about Dan Petlansky. And he'll get the benefit 2 years down the line. So that's the nice thing as well, is that and look, I'm amazed at how keen people are to come onto the podcast. I have had to deal with one or two no's recently, but I
Well,
suppose
it's part of the game.
it's part of the game.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I give up on them.
Yeah.
It just means that I just need to give it a little bit more time and just maybe just give them a bit of space and let them stew on it for a bit, and then give it another run at some stage. But in general, most people are very keen to come on the podcast, and I'm getting to the point now where people are contacting me
That is
to come on
awesome.
the podcast.
That is awesome.
And that's cool.
Yeah.
Because hopefully people are seeing the benefit of the podcast. And I mean the other issue with podcasts is that how do people find podcasts? Because at the moment everything, a lot of this stuff is word of mouth for me.
But it's also like who follows who and how, your podcast channel through Instagram or through YouTube actually gets advertised and gets out there.
Yeah.
And who shares it and how they share it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, look, I hope that people will share it with their friends.
Yeah.
Just to, because I mean that obviously it helps me. But at the moment, I'm just doing Instagram, social media kind of thing, and then when I'm going out, like I did yesterday when we were at Hell's Kitchen, is talking to everyone, not in their face all the time, but I mean it's just, I met, like I said to you, I met so many people yesterday, and they were interested in the podcast because other people were talking about the podcast.
Wow.
And I mean,
Wow.
I'll tell you an interesting thing is that the band that I spoke to invite them to come into the podcast, when I told him the name of my podcast, he said, "Oh no, I know which podcast is yours."
That is awesome. That is
So
cool.
when someone tells you that they know your podcast,
Yeah.
and like you don't even know them,
Yeah.
and they say they know your podcast, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That says that I'm doing something right, So yeah, that's cool. Man.
It's awesome.
Sorry, I'm just checking. I was just checking to see what is happening on YouTube.
Oh, what's happening? Anybody asking questions anymore?
Well, I don't know. Is it still going there?
I think it's still going there.
Yeah, because I did have this going. Like it almost looks like it's stopped,
Wow.
but it says live.
By the way, quick question: do you get a USB version of these?
No.
So okay.
No. But Rode, talking about Rode, these are Rode microphones.
Yeah.
These are made specifically for podcasts.
Podcast. Yeah.
They also got another version, which is obviously a little bit more expensive, which is called the Rode Podcaster.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are the pod mics, and then you get the Podcaster, which is what I see a lot of podcasters do use those, but they're a little bit more expensive.
Yep.
But this is one of Rode's latest podcast
Nice.
mics. And they say if I watched a lot of the reviews, they actually got good reviews.
Yeah, awesome.
For the the amount of money you pay, it's good value for money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. Yeah.
I was still on Instagram.
Instagram's still going.
Can I check how it looks?
Yeah, you can go. But you was talking about the battery life of this note.
So what are we sitting on?
It's on 35% already.
Wow.
It was 100% when we started. Damn, Daniel. Okay, no, it's still going. Still going.
Awesome.
Anyway, it's fun playing around.
How do I escape that?
What do you want to escape?
Yeah.
The keyboard.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just tap somewhere. Oh, good question, dude. You broke it.
Oh well, that wasn't.
So look there. Someone said hello. The bearded fan said hello on his own podcast.
Wow.
Even the bearded fan is watching himself. That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, I need to find out how one monitors Instagram live while you're doing a live, just to see who's in and who's out.
I think
you can interact with them.
I think you need to get another account and basically just
So I'm using my Bearded Fen account to watch the Bearded
Bearded
Fen
Fen.
podcast
Yeah.
live,
Yeah.
but I can't see who's online at the moment. So I wonder if one could see on that. Just give me a sec.
Sure. So can we take a quick break?
You can.
Awesome.
You want to go to the toilet?
Yep. Here's the stuff.
Yeah. So I can. If I go here,
So can you see?
I can see who's on here already, and it's only me.
Okay.
The one person that's watching is me.
Okay.
I'm watching myself. Someone's having a bra. That's not. That's not. That's not.
Okay. While this is happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
While this is happening. By the way, I think it's an awesome setup, and it's like
Cool.
how you've managed to put everything together using just a couple of simple technologies, and the quality and the resolution that you're actually achieving. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a. I thought I'd start it live on my Bearded Fen Instagram thing and see if anyone joins. I wonder if I can say so okay, that's cool. So I can put in that comment. Interesting. Share it with viewers. Yeah. Hey, nice t-shirt, dude. How do I sort this out? I'm on. No? Oh, it's video news. Not anymore. Yeah, so yeah, if you I'm busy streaming a live on my Bearded Fen podcast channel, so you want to go watch the live. We're already 20 minutes, half an hour into it, but I thought we're taking a beer break. So I thought I'd just take a moment just to go live on my personal channel, just so people that I'm there, because I don't have that many followers on my Bearded Fen podcast channel yet. But it's only been there for a week, so yeah. So we'll be back on the live stream in about a minute or two. The Russian. So we need a nickname for you for weekend KRAK, dude. So what's it going to be? I can call you the Russian. I don't want to offend you. Yeah, because obviously I'm the Bearded Fen. Yeah, we need a nickname for you. Zero cool. It's like a contradiction in terms. Eh? Like zero, I'm zero cool. Okay. Okay. Well, when yeah. So in the next couple of minutes we'll be switching over to we'll go back to the Bearded Fen podcast live feed, which is actually just a test, really, just test my setup. Be launching a live show beginning of next year. It's going to be called Weekend Crack, and Weekend Crack is crack is spelled CRAIC. It's a Gaelic word or an Irish word for news, so it'll be called the Weekend Crack. So if you guys go across to the Bearded Fen podcast Instagram page now, you'll see that we're busy doing a live. I'm just talking rubbish. The only problem is that the live on the Instagram, the mic input is not working 100%. So you can also go across to YouTube. If you go to the Bearded Fen YouTube channel, there's also a live feed there as well. And the audio from the mics is going through into that feed. So if you want to go across there, if anyone's out there watching or listening. So also remember, if you want to support the podcast, you can give me feedback. Feedback is always good. I'd like to know what's working, what's not working, what you like and what you don't like. Any guests that you would like me to have on. If you remember, I'm doing motorcycles, tattoos, and anything craft or creative. Those are the kind of people that I'm interested in talking to. If you want to buy a t-shirt, you can get a Bearded Fen podcast t-shirt. I'm not wearing one today. I'm wearing another t-shirt. But you can always grab, if you go to Facebook and you go to Nerve Apparel, you will see that you can buy some t-shirts there. I think there is a Bearded Fen podcast t-shirt that's up there at the moment that you can purchase if you want. That's a very good way to support the podcast. You know, I'm not really asking for any handouts or sponsorships or anything like that. All I'm looking for is people that enjoy the podcast will buy a t-shirt. And by buying a t-shirt, you are supporting the podcast, because that little bit of markup that's on the t-shirt goes towards improving the podcast, get new equipment, get some cameras, that kind of stuff. And slowly but surely, the podcast will get more and more professional. Okay, so if we are going to be back in like 2 minutes. Don't you want to grab me another beer, please?
Yes.
There's one more in there. Yeah, so if you head over to the Bearded Fen podcast on Instagram, or if you shoot over to YouTube and look for the Bearded Fen YouTube channel, you'll see that there is a live feed at the moment. And please do interact with us. If you do happen to watch us on either of those channels, we'll give you a shout out. We'll make sure that we know that you're listening, that you're watching. We'll acknowledge that. Thank you, sir. So, oh, and he's going to pour it for me too. Oh my God, such great service. Okay, I'm going to end this live. Huh? Are you going to ooh, not much head there, huh?
No.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Here we go.
Cheers, everyone. Just bring the Oleg. Let's keep that bottle this side, so, because I want to talk about. I've never had this beer before, so TNT. Yeah, so TNT always reminds you of AC/DC.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to kill this live here. Okay, guys, if you want, head across to the Bearded Fen podcast on Instagram for Instagram live. Sounds not the greatest because there's a problem with the mic, but if you go across to YouTube and you look for Bearded Fen, the Bearded Fen on YouTube, there's also a live there, and the sound's pretty decent there because the desk is going straight into YouTube. Okay, cool. Bye. Right, and now, yes, and share to the story. Okay. Right, where were we, boys? Let's have a look here. I just want to go back to the Beard FM podcast. Ish, I tell you what, like social media is like, it's like all these things, like you never know which is the best way to, like you feel like you have to do everything at once.
Yeah.
Like Instagram, YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook. Because I mean, I could also be doing a Facebook live.
Yep. Good.
Yeah. But I mean, I've got 2 cameras, one for Instagram, one for for YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like too many options, actually.
Let me just check.
Bearded Fen podcast. Huh? Yeah, you're getting lots of messages, dude.
Too many groups.
So you know what I do is I mute the groups. So I don't get the notifications, but I can check them whenever I Okay, that's interesting, hey? This Instagram live is live.
Inactivity or like
story.
inactivity or what's the deal?
Yeah, I think it's got an hour limit on it.
Ah, okay.
So I'm gonna start it again. You can't share video couldn't be shared. Just say send to. No, it's a stuff up.
Can you save it?
No, doesn't look like it.
Not just say send to. Save to gallery is checked off. Go to story settings. No. Go back. Go to story settings. You see what it says save to gallery.
There you go. But there was also save to archive as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I suppose
Send
I
to.
don't know. Send to. So that's if you want to send it to someone.
Oh,
Oh, it doesn't matter. No, I'll we can go live again. It's not a problem.
Do you wanna align it? Guess it's not straight.
Yeah,
Also,
maybe
it should be.
just like turn it like that.
Yep.
There you go. Like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Right, back in black, dude. Back in black. Okay. So this TNT, this is
Your
the first time I've had it. So this is Lounge Lizard Lager. Shit, I need my glasses to read that. No, I'm joking. So the TNT Brotherhood started young.
Hey, there's no shame in glasses.
I know. Oh, because you're wearing yours as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is actually a pretty nice beer. It's the TNT Lounge Lizard Lager.
Mm-hmm.
And I think TNT is the brewery. So I'll have to give them a shot and ask them if they want to come on the podcast because they're based here in Joburg.
Are they?
Yeah.
Or where are they based?
Yeah, they're based in Joburg.
Okay.
I'll hit them up on their Instagram. Anyway, that's a nice beer. Very nice.
Awesome.
Very nice. Right.
So on my side, I'm still keen to do that Voices of Geophysics. I just need to line
Yeah.
up. I just need to line up the possible speakers.
Yeah.
The
But I mean, okay, talking about that.
yeah.
In terms of if I was to produce it for you guys,
Yeah.
in other words, record it, audio and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would I need to have that studio set up first, or
I
would
think-
a setup like this work?
I think we'll do a setup like this, and
Yeah.
I think that will work.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it would be one-on-one, like we're talking now.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be like
It would be one-on-one,
but
it
4
would be
people.
it
or-
would be highly specific, right?
no, fair enough.
So
No, I'm just talking about logistics of
Yeah.
how many people, how many
No.
mics,
you'd
setting.
you'd want to do this type of thing one-on-one because you'd want to basically dive into, the history, the background. you
Yeah.
know.
Well, that's cool. yeah, because obviously my aim is to get the studio going, and then it's nice and easy to.
Where are you gonna set it up? Are you gonna set up just outside?
Yeah, well, the
Awesome.
back room that
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
got there. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's beautiful space. Brian's going to just check if you can knock out the one wall for me,
Okay.
create more space in there,
Okay.
and then it'll be a nice podcast studio.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what type of setup are you thinking of? Are you thinking of also, like a table and?
Yeah, look, I'll work out. I might have to buy another table or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll just have to work out, just from the video point of view, because, if you've got more than one camera,
Yeah.
when each person's speaking, if you're doing live, you need someone pushing buttons, and you need PTZ
Yeah.
cameras and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. It's expensive.
Yeah.
So I might just do this like sort of YouTube setup that we're doing.
Yeah.
So I mean, I could have a third person here, but I'll just have to work out what the best way would be to do that. So I mean, look, that podcast that I enjoy watching, the Daily Talk Show.
Yeah.
I'm looking to them to get ideas on
How to
how
set
to
it up.
set it up. And
Awesome.
they've set it up pretty nicely. They've got a studio, they've got a backdrop wall, they've got a table that allows them to have 4 of them around the table. So I'll have to try and work
Yeah.
that out. Yeah.
But like 4 of them around the table, around the same table facing the cameras, or basically having round table discussion like this.
No, it's not. Well, they've got a rectangle table, if you want to.
Okay.
Round table as in physical round table, or
Or
round
sitting-
table as in
sitting around the
in-
table.
literally.
Yeah.
Literally or figuratively.
Literally.
So you check there. The battery, she is dead, 15%, dude.
Wow, that's like an hour later.
It doesn't last very
Yeah.
long. Yeah. Good old Samsungs.
Good old.
Well, I mean, but at least when we were watching their documentary the other day with Edward Snowden with Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
at least I can take the battery out of this one.
Yeah, that's true.
Not like the others where you
Yeah.
can't. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So look, I mean, I'm keen to help you out with that podcast.
Yeah.
With So
I
that
think
would
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a number of podcasts, but like, let's start with one.
No, what
and
I'm
let's
saying
see
is
what
I'm-
traction we can get with
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it also be nice to if people could put some sponsorship money into that, because
Yeah.
then we can they can go towards making the quality of the podcast better going forward. Because I mean, if it's something that's going to be recurring.
Yeah.
But listen, also the thing is that, like, if you're going to do a podcast like that, you got to try and make it consistent.
Yeah.
In other words, maybe in that field, maybe once a month.
Yeah, but
Would be
the hard
good.
thing would be is the geographical spread of the people you'd want to get on your podcast. And
Well, look, I mean, the best, well, hopefully what you would be able to do
Yeah.
is for people that are not in Johannesburg is to have some way that when you record it like this,
Mhm.
because I mean, you wouldn't live stream it.
yeah, no,
you would record it.
Record it, and
So
then
what you
edit
could
it.
do, what you could do is you could do a Skype call. Maybe you can do the inserted video kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in other words, like where you see the person and you just the insert, but the audio is good and the video is good. Because
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing it here, I mean, I've got a decent line. I've got
Yeah.
100 down and up.
Yeah,
So that's going to be awesome for if you want to do a live,
So what was cool is
not a
like
live, but I mean, you want to do a video call.
video call. Yeah,
Yeah. As long as that person's got good
good
internet
connection.
on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually quite amazed. Just talking about that, just digressing a little bit. My parents down in Cape Town
Mhm.
have got fiber now. I mean, they haven't got like 100 like me. I think
Yeah.
they got 10 meg or whatever.
Yeah.
And 2 meg up or something like that. Can't remember exactly what speed they're on. But the other day, for the first time in a long time, I did a video call with him on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And the quality was amazing.
Yeah,
But we've avoided having video calls. We do WhatsApp calls.
Yeah.
But we've avoided doing video calls because of the quality.
Yeah.
Because on their side they didn't have the line to support. Now, even on a pretty low entry level fiber line,
Yeah.
but because you're getting consistent,
upload down
reliable.
speed, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
interesting.
was actually quite amazed. Yeah. So I mean, for people that are not in Johannesburg,
Yeah.
and you want to do a podcast with them, we can still have this kind of setup, but we just capture the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a question: do you think you'll be able to capture the video from the WhatsApp call? That's an interesting question, right?
Yeah, because you would have to
like,
be running
like everyone
WhatsApp.
would have an access to WhatsApp, whereas
Yeah. Okay, that might be a little bit more difficult.
But like, do you think it's doable?
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
Screen capture on the device.
on the device.
If you had WhatsApp, let's say on an iPad,
Yeah, or on a cell phone.
and then I could record on the iPad. So like you could be sitting here with an iPad.
Yeah.
Like this. So you're having the call.
Yep.
And you could be talking to the person like this. And you could be watching them, but you're recording on here. Yep. Possibly. I don't know. We'll test it. I mean, definitely you can do it with FaceTime. That I can tell you for sure. You can do it with FaceTime.
Okay.
Because I mean, I recorded that conversation that I had with the Daily Talk Show. Not everything, just some of it. But I mean, those are the kind of things we can play with.
Yep.
But I'd be keen to, in inverted commas, produce that for you. Because I mean, I've got the equipment.
Yep.
Well, at least some of it. And I'd like to, because the more stuff that I can do in terms of, like, say, producing your podcast for you, obviously it gives me more experience, and obviously I can justify having the equipment.
Yeah, and exposure.
And exposure.
Yeah, and hopefully we can get some sponsorship towards it.
Yeah, look, I mean, if someone would like to, someone in the geophysics or geology industry wants to get some traction out of it. Yeah. And I mean, would you do it under the umbrella of Saga, or would you?
I think would basically do it under the umbrella of Saga.
Yeah, because then you can brand it and distribute it as a product of Saga.
Yeah,
and then possibly you get more traction out of that,
for sure,
as opposed to just some random video podcast that's been
on and
pumped up onto YouTube or whatever. Because I mean, at least Saga would then have an existing audience.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, you can connect with people outside of South Africa who would have an interest in the conversation that's just been had. So, I mean, your audience is just that much bigger. But I think doing it under the umbrella of Saga gives you that sort of like, jumpstart in terms of the audience, or getting it out to the audience, because it's all about distribution. It's like, how do you get people to, how do I get people to find me?
But it's like, it's about having the conversation with the people that you want to have the conversation with, like you said, from the start, and basically talking about the things that really interest you. And, so in the geophysics community, it's very niche, but like, if you get the right people on the show, you can, like, a lot of people from all over the world will tune in.
Yeah.
And try to follow your podcast. Whether it's live or, because they're interested in that conversation. I mean,
but I think that's also just going back to the sort of consistency.
It's like sorry to interrupt you, but it's like having a, for example, say, the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk. I mean, everyone tuned in on that. I mean, I'm not sure how many hits it's got, like maybe 4 or 5 million.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I think if you're going to do it under the umbrella of Saga, or whichever way you decide to do it, I think consistency is what,
the key.
Because like if you say we're going to publish the first Monday of every month or whatever it might be, then whoever's your audience, if you are consistent, they will know that on the first Monday of the month they're going to get some geophysics insight. Whatever it might be. So I think we must do that. So you must just think about when you want to kick that off. And I was
thinking doing it, like close to the holidays, close to like December time, because then we would have the time to actually do it. But yeah, we need to actually firm up on a date and just get it done.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this setup like this. Well,
Awesome.
when I say
Relatively.
setup, but I mean relatively.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know what I was thinking is maybe you must start, you know, like you're talking about people, proximity of people, is maybe start out with people that are in and around Johannesburg,
Yeah. No, for sure.
and then you know maybe target people that are like low hanging fruit at the moment.
Yeah.
Whoever that might be. Yeah, you know, someone that's close and accessible.
Yeah.
And is keen to come on. I mean, that's a nice way to test the system, test the setup, test the format.
Yeah.
Get it out there, see what it looks like and whatever. Yeah. Now that would be exciting to do.
This is actually quite nice.
Is that the
Rusty
trigger? Rusty trigger. Yeah, I wouldn't want a rusty trigger on my firearm. Huh?
No. No.
Got to keep that thing oiled, man.
Yeah.
So, hey, like you were asking earlier on about the formats of all the subjects that one would talk about when you're on Weekend Crack.
Yeah.
Is you know, like what subjects do you stay away from?
That's a good question.
Like we're talking about firearms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we talking about you know, like, and we're having some beers, and if we were to crack a bottle of whiskey, I mean, is that, I don't know, it's like in this world of political correctness.
Yeah.
I mean, where does it fall in there? And I mean, listen, there's the nice, we're talking about podcasts.
Yeah.
That's the difference between podcasts and radio.
Yeah.
Is that podcasts are not regulated.
So you can create that atmosphere, you know,
Yeah.
that casual, relaxed atmosphere of, you know, just two people having a conversation. It's almost like the mics are not even here.
Well, I mean, but what I'm saying is that on radio, you got to be careful about what you say and talk about, because the broadcasting, that association,
look,
what do they call themselves?
Broadcasting.
Or whatever it is. I wonder if they would ever get to, like with the podcast, would they ever censor, or not censor, but would podcasts fall under that?
Look, for sure, you know, podcasts, just like any information channel, would carry, you know, like an internet legislation that would, you know, cover it. You know, and you got to be sensible in terms of like approach the topics that you want to talk about, and, you know, obviously not trying to be a deuce.
A deuce. A deuce. A deuce.
What a deuce is.
What do you mean, a cardboard box?
Yeah, a cardboard box.
A
Yeah.
cardboard box.
About the whole thing, and just you know, be sensible, be tolerant, be, you know, accommodating. But I'm pretty sure that, you know, if you approach you know, different topics from a good angle, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I think you can talk about quite a lot.
No, I was
With
just thinking,
different
but
people,
you know, it just occurred to me now that the big difference between, we were talking about the overlap between radio and podcasts and, you know, publishing stuff on the internet, is that the sort of like regulation doesn't really, you know, radio falls on a particular, it doesn't extend to podcast or YouTube
doesn't
or whatever. Yeah. No, well, so I suppose then that's the benefit. You can talk about pretty much what you want.
Yeah.
And anyway, just you know, talking about alcohol, you know, please drink and drive responsibly.
Absolutely.
Please use Uber.
Yes.
And yes, Uber, you can, more than welcome to send vouchers our way. So I was chatting to those guys. So I had the conversation with the guys from the Daily Talk Show on Friday. And yeah, well, anyway. But one of the no, it went well.
Awesome.
Well, you know, I sent them a mail and I said to them, hey, listen, I just want to chat about our podcast and whatever, just have a casual chat. But they actually mentioned in their podcast that they published today, they mentioned that they had spoken to me, but they mentioned they'd been on my podcast.
Yeah.
But I had no intention of publishing
Yeah.
our conversation as a podcast.
Yeah.
I was just chatting to them about, hey, like what's working, you know, okay, how did you start and what were you doing when you started? You know, were you thinking about this and were you thinking about that? But what was I going to say? I was just talking anyway.
You were talking about the conversation that you had with them.
Yeah, but there was
So-
something about that conversation that I wanted to mention. But what I found kind of interesting, they thought that they were being on my podcast.
Yeah.
But they weren't.
No.
I was just having
Yeah.
I just wanted to have a chat.
Chat. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's interesting.
but I'd like to have a proper
Podcast.
podcast with
Yeah,
them.
for sure.
Other than, you know, like something that I can publish on my side, or we publish both sides on their side as well as.
Yeah.
So do you have you come across a guy called Matt Diavella?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So Matt Diavella, that's how I found the Daily Talk Show.
Yeah.
And I found Matt Diavella when I was looking to start my podcast. It's like, Google, how to start a podcast.
I think his production skills are off the charts.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That guy can produce a video.
Yeah.
And you know what's quite interesting? It's so funny because someone made a comment recently about his style of
doing it.
videoing.
Yeah.
And when you notice that all his shots are steady, whereas like the sort of style at the moment is like very vlog, shaky kind of
All
stuff.
over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So and he said it's so funny because his style that people comment on and say, oh, they love his style. The only reason why he's got that style, or one of the main reasons, is because he's videoing on his own.
Yeah.
In other words, he's a one-man show producing those videos.
Yep.
So he's using a tripod
Yeah.
to do the shots and the videos.
Yeah.
And it just so
That's
happens that the shots are then steady.
Yeah.
But obviously, look, the guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you look at his sort of like framing of each shot,
Yeah.
it's
Phenomenal.
amazing. It's phenomenal. Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that, but I mean, I just don't. I don't know. I don't have the time or the patience. Time
Yeah.
is okay. Maybe I have the patience, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah. Time is the key.
To do, because I mean, like sometimes I think he said that he would sometimes shoot that thing a couple of times. I mean, can you
Yeah.
imagine? It's like take your whole day.
Yep.
To do a like a 5 minute
minutes,
video.
yeah.
But have you noticed that he only wears the same color t-shirt all the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Only wears gray or like a bluey gray.
I think it's a neutral color, you know.
Because you know he did that minimalist documentary.
Yeah.
And so he calls himself a minimalist.
Yeah.
So so that's one of the
Interesting.
things is one color shirt.
Yeah,
I always
but
wear black.
I
I
love-
just have.
I love the design on your shirt.
Oh,
by the
you
way,
do.
yeah.
So my cousin bought this for me for my birthday.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I love the design. Fucking dude.
That is
Fucking
cool.
yeah. I need to.
It's simple but like elegant at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still only watching myself.
That's
People
cool.
have come and gone.
Yep.
What's happening?
Oh, people are actually on here.
On where?
Are
I
they?
don't know.
How many people? No, but they've come and gone.
Yeah, but
How many people are watching at the moment?
one.
Exactly. You know who that is? That's watching.
No.
It's me.
Same.
I'm watching myself. Yeah, shame, man. Thanks
Okay.
everyone for tuning in. Not.
Not.
Anyway, it's fun. I mean, it's just testing the
I think
equipment.
It's a pretty good test, Dan.
Mm.
Oh, did you start the live again?
I did, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's got an hour limit, so it dies after an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so weird. Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, we're looking at the video there. Do you think that it would be better if people were sitting at this angle?
No,
Not.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, like,
Like if I was sitting like this.
But do you want to be looking at the camera all the time?
No, you don't want to be looking at the camera, but I'm just saying in terms of the camera looking at us, is
Yeah.
it better to be 100% side on, or if we were talking,
That's a good
yeah,
question.
BC, but then I would be looking at you,
Yeah.
and then I would be turning
I think-
anyway.
I
I
think-
don't know.
I think camera angle is one of the things that you'll need to play around with, as well as, you know, the height. I think this height, the YouTube feed height is perfect.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's, you know, it's on
And the
Oh, high
Instagram,
level.
there's the Instagram one.
The Instagram one is a bit higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason why I did that is because otherwise I see this camera.
Yeah, that's true. That's,
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is that I can't bring it close because then it's the field of view is here. So I try to use my GoPro.
Yeah.
The only problem with the GoPro is that I need extra gadgets to pump it into YouTube Live,
Okay.
which is like $2,000 just for that gadget.
How much?
2,000 rand.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is insane.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily want to buy that because I mean I can just use this thing. This
I
seems
think
to
the
be
field of
working
view
pretty
for
well.
the YouTube is perfect.
Mm.
It truly is cool.
So if I had a third person sitting here,
You'll see
Emma?
it perfectly.
Emma, Rebecca, don't you want to come here, please? Did she say no?
She's coming.
Okay.
She's coming.
Oh,
I think-
sorry,
I think let's grab a chair.
Yeah, don't you want to grab that chair there? That one, yeah. Yeah, and you can just put the chair over here and just come sit for a moment. Yes, you. Because I mean, we're just testing. I just want to see what it's going to look like if someone is sitting there. So,
How's school?
Hi. This is really weird.
Why is it weird?
I don't know.
No, I just wanted to see what it looked like if you.
I think it's good.
Oh, that's there. Oh, wow. Yeah, this looks
Yeah,
cool.
so that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know that the mic's a bit in the way,
Yeah.
but
Well, that's a case where you can actually.
no, look, I suppose it doesn't really matter because I mean
It's a low profile.
It's a podcast, man. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, mic's in your face. I mean,
Yeah.
If you were to watch a live video of a radio station, you're going to see the mics in the guy's face.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's unavoidable. Yeah.
Unavoidable.
Yeah.
I mean, so like for this YouTube thing, I could always move the camera slightly. I don't know. Anyway,
But the
I think
problem
it's
is
fine. I think it's
the
fine.
problem is like once you start playing around with the angles, right? You're gonna start distorting things because then you're gonna start seeing your back or my back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want that.
No, absolutely. Cool.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for your assistance. That's my producer, by the way, if anyone's asking. You. No, because I mean, why can't I use my kids to be my producer when I do a podcast on a Saturday morning?
Look, as long as
Okay.
you pay them above minimum wage,
minimum age. I mean, wage.
no, as long
No,
as
well-
you pay them above minimum wage,
Yeah.
yeah, and it doesn't interfere with the school activities, it's cool.
Well, yeah. Hopefully, Saturday morning is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I think that well, it's a good skill for them to acquire.
for sure.
Yeah, seeing that this is the YouTube generation.
This is the YouTube generation. Scarier.
Dude, I was watching this video on YouTube early on about the top 10 earning YouTubers, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, the kind of money that they're talking about, and you think about what they're actually doing.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, I suppose in a way you got to respect that they've been able to create their own sort of their own sort of wealth.
Yeah.
Using technology that's out there.
Yeah.
That typically the rest of us would just use to share videos with our friends.
And family, yeah.
They found a way to monetize it and to make money from it.
Mm.
I mean, you got to hand it to them. But I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I'm past streaming games. While I'm playing.
Yeah.
I mean, PewDiePie. I mean, he's probably the highest earning YouTuber. And how does he? Well, basically he broadcasts playing games, live streams games.
Is he quite good at that?
Well, he must be.
Is he quite good
He
at
does
the games?
Minecraft.
Okay.
So I mean, it's like almost like, I mean, Minecraft was a kids game.
Yeah.
Theoretically, for kids playing, but I mean, the guy's obviously he's not a teenager.
Yeah.
But I mean, So and I mean, there's the David Dobrik's and the all the other guys that are making money from YouTube.
So the whole interesting thing is like the whole advent of this YouTube, Instagram, Twitch generation,
Yeah.
and how people are using basically their esports skills, whether it's playing Counter-Strike or Overwatch or any other game, to actually create a following. Look, a lot of those guys are actually quite good, in terms of what they do, and you have to have a look at it from a perspective of almost like an athlete. If an athlete is really good, he will obviously have a following, he'll obviously have a fan base. The same thing with esports. I think personally, like if you look at the esports competition, they're now pulling in a lot more views and attraction than, for example, say some of the F1 races.
Yeah,
And
but I mean, do you think
that's
like
an
traditional
interesting thing.
sport? Do you think traditional sport will eventually, over time, become non-consequential?
I don't think so. I
Like
think
rugby, football.
Look, I think the traditional sports will still be pulling in the crowd, and
Okay.
it's a whole realism, side of the equation. But I think esports are going to become a lot more popular and are going to become a lot more mainstream.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
Like, and
agree.
if you ask me, it's like, what is the nature of this phenomena? I won't be able to put my finger on it and say, okay, this is it, or this is because of this and this. I really don't know. But I have a Twitch account.
Yeah.
Like
And what-
I follow some of the Overwatch top Overwatch players.
Okay.
And those guys are really good.
Is that the only thing you're watching on Twitch?
Mainly Overwatch and Counter Strike.
So, because I see chess.com, they live stream some of their games. So, because they chess.com is trying to make chess one of those esport games.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's interesting because it's like it
Because-
would be pretty easy to actually make it an esport game.
Yeah.
Because chess itself, when they video and show chess games, I'm not sure if anyone's actually like watching any live chess games.
There guys are.
Really?
Yeah. So there was this podcast that I was listening to was called Coffee House Blenders.
Yep.
And the two guys that were doing that podcast, the one guy works for Microsoft.
Yep.
On the Xamarin side, so the mobile development side, and his friend Danny Wrench, he's one of the top guys at chess.com.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't do that podcast anymore. But when they were doing it, he was talking a lot about their Twitch stream and they were live streaming games.
Yeah.
Well, like the top players or some of their competitions that they had arranged, and there lots of people watching.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
guess that's one.
I mean,
of the,
who would have thought that chess would become
like I wouldn't
become an esport?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I suppose, I don't know. I would imagine you must classify that as a niche market.
I don't think it's a niche market anymore. I think the whole esports arena is busy transforming. I mean, if you look
But
at
I mean, as chess is an
Yeah.
esport, it's
chess,
like a
that's
niche.
true, Yeah.
Is it like a niche thing? I mean, it's one thing watching someone play Overwatch.
I got to show you something like after the feed.
Yeah.
In terms of, I think it was a esport launch in Korea. It's the most unbelievable thing you'll ever see.
Oh,
I
really?
think it's grander than the Olympic Games opening.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Where was it, in South Korea? Obviously,
Oh, it was in
Korea.
South Korea. Yeah.
Not
Sorry.
North Korea.
Not North Korea. No, they play a different type of esports.
Yeah.
Guys, if anyone's watching from North Korea,
Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. Don't.
didn't mean that.
Yeah. Like don't bomb my house.
Yeah.
Because he will be leaving after all.
Yeah.
It'll only be me left behind. Yeah.
Let's call it that.
Yeah. Let's call it, man.
Let's call it.
Because I can see you checking your watch already. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to.
That is so wrong, eh?
I need to take my dogs for a walk.
Oh.
That's why I'm thinking about the nickname Zero Cool.
Oh yeah, you're gonna be zero cool. So it says one watching, but I can't see. Obviously,
that?
I can't. Well, now the battery's
Most
going
likely
flat.
because we mentioned North Korea. Somebody tuned
Yeah,
in.
someone tuned in from North Korea. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I can't see who's watching. Anyway, let's.
Wait, we mention Iran, and we're gonna get 15 views.
Iran. Yeah, like now you're looking for shit. Saudi Arabia. We're coming to get you, boy. Yeah. Okay.
Guys,
It says one watching here, so
guys, whoever's
on
watching,
YouTube.
Are you sure it's not Bearded Fan?
Yeah, it might be me.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier on my YouTube channel, I'm locked in with my Google account.
Yeah.
So the channel that I'm connected to is my own channel.
Yeah.
But I'm watching the live
Yeah.
on my channel with my account. And I would imagine maybe I'm watching myself.
Most likely you are watching yourself.
It's
Yeah.
like I feel like I'm in the Matrix a bit.
Not really. I mean, it's okay to watch yourself. I mean, you look at yourself in the mirror, right?
Yeah, but then I look different because it doesn't look like me. It looks
That's
like
true,
the
that's
mirror
true.
image of me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's not get into that shit just yet.
Yeah.
We can talk about what do they call it? Whatever.
Area 51?
No, not Area 51. I mean, they're like
100,
that,
100 views. 100.
I think I've had one too many beers.
Yeah.
Like the the brain's not firing on all cylinders. Okay, cool, dude. Let's call it there. Thanks very much.
It's been awesome. Thank you so much for the invite. It's
Yeah,
been
no. Well, it's been a test.
no, it was actually nice catching up and talking about stuff. I
I
think
think seeing like we didn't do Friday beers.
no,
So I mean, you were asking
but
about
this was a special occasion for sure.
No, fair enough. But what I'm saying is that we were talking earlier on about the subject matter of We Can Crack.
Yeah,
We Can Crack is basically the conversation you and I have on a Friday afternoon, minus the shop talk.
yeah. For
Is
sure.
the kind of thing
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
would like to be talking about on a Saturday morning.
Yeah,
Just shooting the breeze
I think it's a
with
good
everybody.
idea.
Yeah.
We definitely need to skip shop talk.
Yes. Because I think that's one way to get into trouble.
For sure.
Publish it on the internet.
Since we both still
Ah.
have to maintain regular jobs, right?
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, fortunately.
Fortunately.
Okay, I'm gonna kill the feed.
Guys, it's been awesome.
End video.
Awesome.
Share your story.
Dude, I think it worked well.